Hey team, meet Skimpies, the organic cotton undie made like a liner. Skimpies are for all of us who love going commando but can't quite pull it off like we used to. You just pop Skimpies directly into your pants, press firmly, and it's like you're wearing underwear without the gnarly panty lines. No PFAs, no synthetics, no irritation. Just clean, breathable, organic cotton where you need it most. Created by Bette Bentley, inspired by her own journey as an absolute babe who wanted to live that commando life, but without the UTIs. Go to skimpies.com to get started. Every peach deserves its day, and Skimpies is here to help make it happen. Skimpies, we just want to be in your pants. Hey team, and welcome. I'm your host, Carrie, creator of Mother Life, your destination for all things real talk and parenting. This is the IRL group chat, where we talk about the wild balancing act of pursuing careers and passions while also doing our best to show up for our kids. Join me every week as I sit down with some badass parents in my closet and we talk about their careers, kids, and relationships and all of the weird shit that comes up when you're trying to balance the seemingly impossible. I've noticed this weird little micro trend in how some influencers speak. They talk about their own lore, the ostensibly lesser-known stories or facts about their lives in the before they became internet famous, before they started their current project, before now. Lore. And rarely do I find these people's disclosures worthy of such a word. Lore feels big, cosmic, events and circumstances brought to us through some sort of kismet. Lore feels like something that swirls around a person, is said about them, rather than something they divulge by themselves, not under duress. Maybe I've been reading too much romantasy lately, now that I think about it. Lore is why I get so giddy this week, when, as a footnote to our conversation after recording has stopped, I learned something about our guest over an email that, to me, feels like true lore material. Some sort of magical calling passed through generations and currently manifesting in today's guest. And she'd be the last person to ever bring it up. Definitely lore-worthy. Today's guest is, I think, the most grounded, creative person I've ever met. She both loves her family and her craft deeply and somehow balances those passions in a way that I think is very hard for people to do. She does it with calm and with grace. Maybe it's the ocean swimming she gets up to, I don't know, but I want what she's having. In part, I think she is who she is because of what she inherited from her family. Her mom gave her a love of creativity, but also a passion for being a present mom and a sense of what that truly feels like to receive that kind of maternal attention. From her aunt, she got a love of fashion. And from much further back in her family lineage, our guest today, a fashion designer specializing in a stunning Americana-inspired aesthetic that draws heavily on quilting, is descended from one of the most famous designers in American history. Betsy Ross. You know, the one who's credited with designing the American flag? That is lore-worthy. Kelsy Parkhouse is the owner and founder of Carleen, a clothing brand steeped in nostalgia and a celebration of American textile. Her one-of-a-kind pieces have been gracing runways, editorial shoots for Vogue, and the streets of big cities around the world since its debut in 2012. Her story, to me, feels like true lore, a slow and deliberate movement toward making and being who she was always meant to be, both in her parenting and her career. Enjoy. All right, Kelsy, welcome to the closet. I'm really excited to do this because you, in my mind, are both like someone who feels very comfy and familiar because we've known each other for a long time, and also you're still a little bit of an enigma. And I think you might be like one of those weird people who is creative but also pretty well adjusted. You know, so we're gonna have to figure that out.
I think that's pretty accurate. Yeah.
And we'll ask Derek. We'll be like, would you consider Kelsy adjusted and creative? He would probably say yes.
He would definitely say yes. Yeah.
Talk about two extremely even-keeled people.
He's more neurotic than I am, but he does a good job of keeping it inside.
Okay, yeah, he doesn't really effuse that energy.
Yeah.
So you know the deal. We're going to start with little Kelsy in Long Beach, and we're going to get to big Kelsy in Long Beach. And there were
Yes.
like some stops along the way, right?
Yes. Yes. One big detour. A few
One big
smaller
detour.
detours. Yeah.
Okay, so talk to me about growing up in Long Beach, because in my mind, it's like, I mean, what do I know about growing up in Long Beach? I know about Snoop Dogg. Cameron Diaz, was she also Long Beach?
Correct. Yeah.
And the beach, that's long. Tell me, what was it like?
And Sublime. You're forgetting Sublime.
And Sublime, oh my God, that's embarrassing, given huge Sublime fan. Huge. Talk to me. What was it like?
It was great. It is an amazing place to grow up. It's very like active. Like there's always, like I never felt bored. There were always like things to do. It's like big but also small. I think that's a similar downside to a lot of cities that like you get kind of insular about your little part of the city, which is definitely part of my experience growing up. And it's been fun as an adult to like widen that circle. But yeah, I just always felt like busy and like in community and like had lots of activities to do. And yeah, my family loves the beach. We went to the beach a ton. But we also like skiing, and like the mountains are accessible even though they're not right here. And if you want like a more genuine city experience, it's easy to get into LA. Yeah, I had like a very like classic suburban childhood.
It's giving like Wonder Years. Sort of.
Yeah, like very, very classic suburban childhood. I definitely feel more like I lived and live in the suburbs than I do in a city, because Long Beach just kind of gives those vibes, even though it's a pretty big place ultimately.
And what were your parents up to when you were growing up?
My mom stayed at home, and my dad worked in a family business. And both of those things are still more or less true, even though we are all clearly out of the house and have been for years. Yeah, my mom worked a little bit when I was first, like after I leave and when I was first born. But once my brother came along, she really committed to being a stay-at-home mom. That was kind of always her passion from when she was young. Like she was really interested and committed and happy to do that. Like she never wanted to do anything else more than she wanted to do that.
And was she like into the PTA and like volunteering at your school?
She was definitely super involved. The first time my kid had a school field trip, she was like shocked and appalled that I didn't like immediately sign up to be one of the field trip chaperones.
Sure.
She was like, I went to everything. But yeah, so she was super involved, but not in like she was never like PTA president. She was more like a worker bee type. And she's also very creative. She like always doing projects. Actually, I just dropped my kid off this morning at her house, and she was showing me like literally 3 different projects that she's working on, that are like Christmas decor related.
Amazing.
So yeah, she's always been really creative, and we always had like a really colorful, fun, welcoming home. And
what was the like discipline vibe?
Was a big part of that.
It doesn't feel like we're talking very strict about things. Like what was the sort of ethos? Like what was the curfew situation as you got older? What did all of that look like?
It's funny because she is both chill and strict.
Hard balance.
Yeah. I think like my siblings chafed at it a little bit more than I did, but she was
Eldest
definitely
daughter?
like really, yes, eldest daughter. But she was definitely like really strict about like drinking or lying or like being out late, we're all like very
Big
no-go
no-nos
in our house.
Now,
Yeah.
okay, so this is a genuine question I have because like I mean, my oldest is 5, but there are certain things now where I'm like, he has to know this isn't okay. And also, like, go to your room doesn't mean anything. So, like, give me an example as you were older, if you got caught lying or somebody, whatever, what does it look like? What's the repercussion?
Yeah. Let's see. I'm kind of I kind of had in mind more like older years type things.
Yeah.
There's definitely one time,
What's coming
I can't
for us?
remember who was involved when we were small. I can't remember if it was like all 3 of us kids or just like some of us. But anyways, we just like classic, like we got into some candy when we weren't supposed to, and we had like chocolate like still on our faces, and she was like, did you eat some of your Halloween candy or whatever it was? And we were like, no, no. And she just started such a performance. She just started like bawling, and she was just like, I can't believe that you lied to me. Like, I see the chocolate on your face. You can't ever lie to me like that. Like,
And that left an impression.
yeah.
Oh my God. And the Oscar goes to mom.
Yeah. And it left a big impression that, like, really, like, no matter what else, we just really need to not lie to her.
I love it. I love that. Okay,
Yeah.
a little bit of psychological warfare. And then later on,
She was also like one of those moms where she could just like look at you and you like were like, oh, I better do what she said. Like,
yeah, I need to figure out how does one gain that gravitas.
I don't know how one cultivates that. But
if anybody has ideas,
I
put
should
it in the
ask her
show
for
notes.
tips.
Yeah, I would love to be a little bit more like, you know?
Yeah.
I've started explaining to my son sometimes when he does something that's not cool, I'll be like, that was a really nasty thing that you did. Because, like, not kind is not working. But I also, you know, like, because that's really not kind. You know, we're a kind family. You're a kind boy. You just forgot. None of that is getting through. So now I've just started, that was really nasty. That was a nasty thing to do. And for some reason, like, for this week, that's working. But I don't trust it.
You take what's working until it's not anymore.
Yeah, that's the most annoying thing about it, right? Is the minute you crack something that works, it doesn't work for that long. Okay, so you mentioned that your mom's creative, and you obviously effuse all things creative. Now, what was your relationship growing up with the swap meet? Or
we
like,
went from
what
when
is
I was
that? What
like
you called
a
it?
Little kid. Yeah. Yeah, it is actually, and it's interesting that you say that because I feel like more commonly people refer to it as a flea market.
I knew who I was talking to.
Like outside of like Southern California, but like my family growing up, we were always like, we're going to the swap meet, we're going to the swap meet. But then that was like that felt like when I went away to college and stuff, that felt like a regional vernacular. But yeah, I haven't.
I'm trying to relate to you, Kelsey.
I haven't really parsed out where it all falls, but yeah, there's an amazing flea market, swap meet in Long Beach. It's been running the whole time I've been alive. I've been going since I was in the stroller. It's something that my mom has always liked to do. My aunt also, she never lived in the same place as us, but she also really loves it, and every time she would kind of come to visit, and it coincided when it was happening. We would always go together. And yeah, and I loved it. And my mom, well, I'm sure I didn't love it all the time because, like, kids. But my mom taught me to haggle, like from when I was small. Like if I wanted something at the flea market, she would be like, "Oh, here's $2. Like, go ask him how much it is. Go ask like." And
That's
it's also
such a
really
good
easy.
underrated skill. Like the idea of that gives me diarrhea. You know, like I'm not built for that life.
Yeah, it's also really easy to haggle when you're like a cute 5-year-old.
Sure.
Because the vendor, like asking about like a Barbie with its hair cut off, because the vendor's like, oh, you're adorable. Like, why don't you just have it for free? Um,
Good tactic, Mom.
so it's very good training wheels. But yeah, and she also kind of, I think that's what, like, two reasons that I kind of liked it against the odds of maybe some kids, is, yeah, she taught me how to haggle and let me get like little things. And then as I got a little older, she helped me cultivate like a collection. So, which is like, I feel like one of the funnest ways to experience flea markets is when you have something you're kind of always looking for. And there's like variations on that thing. So yeah, so I like cultivated a collection of this one specific type of doll, that's very cute.
Do you still have them?
And I do, but it's like kind of absurd, at this point.
We're gonna need a picture. We're gonna need
like
a picture.
Too many dolls.
We're gonna
It's just
so
like too
creepy.
many dolls,
It's
and I
so
don't
creepy.
need them. They're small. That's a good thing. They're small, and they're very cute.
We will need a photo for the
like
show notes. Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, they still live at my mom's house because it's like we don't have. I don't really want them, but I also don't really want to get rid of them.
Yeah, that's how I am with my Beanie Babies.
Yes. So I think the haggling and the cultivating a collection made me like helped keep my interest even though I was young, because I would be like, just like looking for something the same way my mom and everyone I was with, all the adults I was with, were looking for something. So it was really fun. Yeah.
And then where in this timeline do your parents get divorced?
My parents get divorced when like essentially between like middle school and high school.
That's a pretty formative time to get divorced.
Yeah.
For you. Yeah.
Yeah. It is, but they did a really good job. It was like really not that traumatic, honestly.
What do you think as a kid? Because like everyone who listens to this podcast knows that my divorce situation was like less smooth for my parents. So let's talk about like, what do you think made it successful and not like a piece of trauma for your therapy sessions that you probably don't even have. You probably don't even have a therapist. That's crazy to think about. Okay, so tell me, what did they do?
Well, the first thing is that it sounds like really like I had my head in the sand and was dumb that I didn't realize this, but they essentially did a trial separation without telling us. They like pitched it really well. My mom was like, you guys, we've lived in the same house your whole life. And I think it would be a great adventure to live somewhere new. We are going to move to Bishop, which is a small town at the base of like Mammoth Mountain. We're going to move to Bishop for a year so that we can experience a different lifestyle, a small town, the experience of living somewhere new, making new friends. We are going to get to ski and snowboard a bunch, and then we're going to come back. We're going to do it for 1 year, and then we're going to come back.
Wow, that's good.
Yeah, and obviously there was like a little bit of like trepidation, but like, yeah, they did a good job selling it, and it seemed exciting and fun, and it was. It was an absolutely wonderful experience, like very formative. Just the experience of like going to a brand new school where you don't know anybody, like, and just like having to like, in 8th grade and like being like, I guess I'm just going to sit at this picnic table by myself, like first day of school lunch.
Are you an introvert or
was
an
obviously
extrovert?
more introverted.
That
It was
tracks.
really, really hard. But like, it also like taught me that I could do it, and that it was great. And obviously, some people move around all the time and like are forced to do this by like life circumstances that are not just like chosen like in the way that my family chose it. But yeah, and me and my brother were in middle school, and my little sister was in elementary school, and we all got in the car at the end of the day, and me and Cody were like, oh, like just like kind of beat, like that was a long day, you know?
Yeah.
Like, and my sister was in, I think, 4th grade, and she got in the car like all happy, and she was like,
Of course.
oh my gosh, I played with Susan and Jane and like blah blah blah, and they like dinosaurs too, and we made a fort at recess, and like my teacher is so nice, and she has a gerbil, and like blah 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 blah. She was just like, everything is great, and we're like, oh, Tess,
Classic
you're in 4th
youngest
grade.
behavior. Well, and
Yeah.
also just like the youngest is like happy to be here.
Yeah, she was like,
gonna make it work.
and so I asked if Lily could like come have a play date this weekend. Is that okay, Mom? Like,
Love
and
it.
I was like, okay, so Tess has 6 friends, and I talked to 2 people today. But I did end up like making really, really good friends that year, and having a lot of fun, and yeah, doing a lot of things I wouldn't have done otherwise.
But it's interesting because they chose
And-
to also move you out of your environment for this
Yeah.
test.
I mean, I think that's kind of what made it successful.
Because you couldn't really compare.
Because it wasn't just like, I mean, or convincing, I guess, to us, was because it wasn't just like, oh, we're like going in the house down the road, like for no reason, you know. Yeah, so, and it also was convincing because, yeah, like my dad is employed in a family business, so it wasn't like that was just always the path he was on, and we always assumed that would be his job for his whole life. So
So it
I
made
feel like
sense
that's
that he
also
wasn't
part
coming.
of what made it convincing. It wasn't like he was going to move for work, like, ever. So it made sense. Like, oh, dad's staying back, and he's going to come up every weekend, and because he has to work, and that's the reason.
Wow, they're good.
You know, it seemed like plausible. Or I was just, you know, a dumb kid. But
No, I mean, I actually think that like it's a very unique. I've literally never heard of that approach, but actually, it was very smart, I think, on their part. Because
Yeah.
you can't just like be comparing all of the time, and also you don't have your friends from school being like, "Hey, Kelsey, like your parents are gonna break up." Like, you know that if you had been with your friends and like this was happening, they'd be like, "Writing on the wall, bitch, we got problems." But if you're in a totally new
Yeah.
environment, nobody knows that context and can't put in anything in your ear, especially 8th grade girls.
Yeah.
Forget about it. Like, they're not holding punches.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and then kind of like at the end of that time period, they did the like sitting us down, and I don't really remember that much about it. Just very like classic, like, we both love you guys, but we're just not like prepared to stay together as a couple anymore. We were all devastated, of course. The hardest thing about the divorce for me was that it came as a surprise again, despite all this like evidence. I didn't have fighting parents. Like, there was never any evidence. Like, they kept their problems to themselves. There was never any evidence to us as kids that like anything was wrong, even before this move. So I think we were all somewhat blindsided, and that was hard. You know, I think there's some people whose parents are always yelling at each other, and then they're like, oh my God, like, I'm not psyched about this, but like, I'm glad I don't have to be in the same room with them anymore, you know, like with both of them anymore. So there wasn't that. That was like literally the hardest part. And then once they told us, they basically were just like, here's the new plan. Like, this, like, we're going back to our original house. Dad got a house like 6 blocks down. you're, you know, and like you're doing like every other weekends and Tuesdays, like
They had it sewn up.
Yeah,
Everything
it was
was
already like all the decisions were like already made. And there was very little to no like adjusting from that point forward. And they also just like they never said anything bad about each other. I feel like that's like low bar for like excellent divorcing, but beyond
Shockingly
that,
hard for many to attain.
Yeah. Beyond that, they never even like we were never like at breakfast, and neither of my parents were ever like, oh, and I'm going to court about the divorce today. I just like nothing ever was like, not like we couldn't ask questions, but it was just like, this is our business, and we're
the grown-ups,
we're handling
it,
and we're the adults, and you don't need to know anything about it. Like, was kind of the vibe.
Bravo, parents.
Yes.
And
so
then,
they did a really good job. Yeah.
And then you're entering high school, sort of, as all of this is unfolding. And did you, like, what was high school like for you? Were you involved in a bunch of stuff? Did you like the academic stuff? Like, what was life like outside of the house?
Yeah, I've always liked school. I've always liked school a lot. And I had a great high school experience. Yeah, I had good, challenging classes. I was on the swim team. A lot of my, like, friend making happened, like, swim team related.
What was your event?
I was a distance swimmer.
Same.
I would do, like, the 200, 500, freestyle type events. Yeah. I didn't know you swam.
I was a big time swimmer. I actually swam into adulthood. And then I started doing like open water swim stuff.
Oh, so cool.
But when I did the distance swimming in high school, I will never forget. I don't know about you. Everyone has a different thing, but I would just get like a song stuck in my head and just sort of sing it on repeat in my head while I was going. And it was almost always, I'm a Barbie girl. Barbie girl. I have no idea why. It's not like I must have just been on the radio a lot, but I would just sing the song on repeat.
That's
for
really
the whole
funny.
500. Okay, so
well, if you ever want to come down to Long Beach and swim,
I do.
I have a little ocean water swim group that meets
so
like
cool.
once a week.
You're so cool. Of course you do. Do you wear a wetsuit?
No, I'm trying to do one more swim this week, and then I'm taking the winter off. But
it's fucking cold. It's the Pacific Ocean.
I do. It is cold. Yeah, it's kind of a cold plunge / swim experience, but also it seems like nothing compared to people who cold plunge in like Maine. So,
yeah, but like nobody's trying to be like that, or at least I'm not.
I mean, people are trying to be like that.
I have considered jumping in we have a pool. I have considered, like, if I just jump in my pool, does that count as a cold plunge? And it's not heated?
Yeah, I think
probably.
So.
Feels cold. Seems cold. Okay, so you've got swim team, you're into the academics piece. Did you know that you were like destined to do something creative with yourself?
Kind of yes and kind of no. I was also in like AP studio art. I loved it. I had a really inspirational teacher, Mr. Zito.
Shout out Mr. Zito, way to change somebody's life.
Who like was just really encouraging and taught us all and like treated us all very, very like serious adults, even though we were like teenage babies. And I always did like crafts and hobbies and art on the side, and I also really liked academics. Like academics, like college as a career, as like a path, isn't like something that was super big with any of my parents or like aunts and uncles or anything.
Meaning, like, there wasn't an expectation that, like, you must go to college.
No, like, they didn't really go.
Yeah.
Like, my dad went to college but didn't graduate because he just, like, didn't need, he just wasn't that motivated. And
He had a plan. He had a path.
Yeah. And my mom didn't go to college, and I had aunts and uncles who went to, like, trade schools and, like, secondary education, but not kind of like the traditional 4-year college path. So I was very supported in academics, and my parents were very encouraging. But I feel like, you know, if you haven't, like, been through the system, you're not, like, an expert on it. And I don't even know if that's the reason. But when I was, like, applying to colleges and picking a college and going to college, I kind of, like, maintained this idea for a while that you could just, like, get, like, a liberal arts degree. Like, and that was kind of what I wanted to do. I was like, I like everything. Like, I like history. I like English. I like, so, and then, like, I realized that I needed to pick a major. So, yeah, but this was supposed to be related to the creativity. Anyways, I really liked art, but I didn't want to go to, like, art school because that felt, like, too boxed in. And I didn't want to go to, like, art school after. I wanted to have more options and have, like, a broader education. So I ended up going to NYU, where we met. And
Go Fighting Violets.
and I dabbled a lot before, like, settling into a major. So I chose art history as kind of a compromise. Or not a compromise, but, like, an intersection of interests, since it was, like, more academic, but also art.
Yeah, that actually seems perfect.
Yeah, and I also took, like, as many classes, like, on the side as I could in, like, other majors.
What was your relationship to sort of style, fashion up until that point?
Long Beach is also a very casual city. So,
like, shoes optional casual.
Yeah, like flip-flops 12 months of the year casual. So Long Beach is also a very casual city. So that was I kind of, like, and we wore a school uniform, not like a private school, like, pleated skirt uniform, but, like, a very strict dress code school uniform. And so there wasn't, like, a lot of room, but we always, my family, we always, like, went hard on the shoes. So I would have, like, lots of very colorful shoes to compensate. But anyways, yeah, Long Beach is a very casual city. And there's not a lot of reasons to get, like, dressed up. My mom has good style and always, like, presents well. And my aunt has also been very, like, formative for me. She has incredible style, and she actually studied design, fashion design. And she lived in New York City, and she would come to visit. Or she lived in Westchester, but, you know, to me,
when you don't live in New York, yeah, she's in the big city.
And we would go to visit her, and she would take us to Broadway shows, and we would all get dressed up for it, and she would come to visit us, and she would have these, like, beautiful cashmere sweaters and, like, beautiful, like, skirts, and yeah, so that was always, she was always really special to me, and that was always kind of, like, a window into, like, a more formal and dressy kind of world. So that was also, like, a big part of why I looked at schools on the East Coast, and New York specifically, and kind of, like, I had always just been, so I always say I wasn't, like, I feel like some people are like, I have to get out of where I grew up, and I didn't really feel that way, but I felt obviously very pulled to come to go somewhere. Like, I felt very pulled by New York. It wasn't so much a push out of Long Beach, but more of a pull to
Wait,
New
what's
York,
your aunt's name?
Lori.
Shout out Aunt Lori.
Lynn.
Look at you, shaping the future of the next generation of style and tastemakers, Aunt Lori.
Yes. So I was just like super enamored with New York City for a long time. So when I got the opportunity to go there for school, it was like, of course I'm going to do that.
And then how do you make the leap?
While I was at NYU, I did a bunch of internships actually in the fashion industry. Like, anyone who would take me that didn't care that I wasn't studying fashion design, which, like, honestly doesn't matter, because what are interns actually doing anyways?
Carrying garment bags. If you were me, I'd carried a lot of garment bags.
But I would be like I would be in like the PR department or the like sales department, or one internship was at Libertine, which was super small at the time, and I was like sewing on buttons and thrifting pencil skirts and like doing stuff like that, and they recognized that I didn't actually need to be studying fashion design to do those things.
Shout out for being innovative thinkers. That can make all of the difference. Like, when somebody realizes that a core skill set isn't the same as what like a title is like, that can change a life.
Yeah. So, and I just like really, and I got a lot out of the internships, and I was like, okay, so this is what I want to do. And I only needed like 2 more classes to complete my degree at NYU. So I completed my degree and graduated, and then applied to design schools and went to Pratt, where technically I was a transfer student because all of my credits from NYU transferred. So I only, because that's like a 4-year degree at Pratt also. And like there's like an art history requirement. Like I didn't have to take art history classes because I had just completed an art history major. So I didn't have to take any of the general education classes. I only took the fashion design classes. And so I wasn't able to complete the degree faster because of sequencing, but I was like a part-time student for most of the 4 years I was there, because I was only doing the fashion courses.
Wait, where does Derek enter the picture?
Oh, like a long time ago.
we can't miss out on what is one of the longest relationships I know of.
Yeah, we met freshman year at NYU, and we got more serious like sophomore year at NYU. So we've been together a very, very long time. Yeah.
And what's interesting, which I guess I hadn't really thought about before, but like Derek's an architect, you're a designer, and I think we talked about this before, but I used to think I really wanted to be a fashion designer, but I actually don't have the technical brain for it because it is actually really technical. I don't have.
I just saw a meme about that the other day. It was like, I wanted to be in fashion because I don't need to do math, and then it was like showing all the math you have to do.
So much math. It's so much math. And it's so much like abstract conceptualization things. It's like chess. I love it. And it turns out I just like love to be a consumer and observer.
Which is great.
But yeah, you need consumers. Yeah,
I need consumers.
But you guys probably actually have a lot of shared ways of your brain working, right?
Yeah. I think we have a lot of same ways of working and same ways of understanding. Sorry, I'm distracted by the street sweeper. I don't know if you can hear it.
If my kids were there, they would be thrilled to see a street sweeper. It's an exciting one.
Yeah, and I think both Derek and I, for like better or worse, were attracted to like fashion design and architecture as like arts that are professionalized a little bit. So it's not just like being an artist. There's
like a specific prescribed outlet and pathway.
Yeah. Yeah, I think like just if I was like I'm gonna be an artist, like that would have been like way too loosey goosey for me.
Eldest
And
daughter.
I also really like the problem solving aspect. Like we were like I actually kind of like the math that's involved. Like figuring out those puzzles.
Now, what
So
did
yeah,
you and
it
Derek
ended up
see in
being
each
great for
other
me.
at age
I just
19 or
thought he was
20?
cute.
Because, like, I mean, I just think it's kind of crazy, right? Because people are always like, and like, these are the sorts of things to think about when looking for a partner and da 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 da. At
Yeah.
19 or 20, neither of you were thinking about that. And yet, you have found this person who is like deeply compatible, who you guys have this like very just like clear ease and comfort with each other and like mutual understanding that's kind of wise beyond its years, and it's nuts. And then you like have gone on to live a whole ass life and have kids together. It's kind of crazy statistically that worked out for you guys.
It is crazy. It is crazy. We had like a randomly assigned freshman year or sophomore year roommate who was like all about her high school boyfriend. And we were all kind of like, why is she so serious about this? Like, it's not like he's going to be her husband. Meanwhile, I'm like with Derek, like what, like there's no difference between like your high school boyfriend and my like early college boyfriend.
Do we know if
like,
they
it's
stayed
actually
together?
the same thing.
Did they stay together? Do we know?
I I mean, I haven't checked in a long time, but as of last check, yes, they were.
Aww. Sweet. Well, we wish them the best if, regardless of where
Yes.
life has taken them. Okay, so
Yes,
you guys
yes.
like randomly kismet find each other, have these like shared interests and ways of thinking about the world. I
Well, I
forget,
think
where is he
we grew,
from?
I mean, I think we grew up together a lot. I think we did have like we did and we do have similar interests, but part of that is from our nature and part of it is from spending so much time with each other for a long time.
Like, what do you guys fight about? What do you argue about?
What do we fight about? Like money? Don't all couples fight about money?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Is it like somebody's more of a spender and somebody's more of a saver, or like
No, it's like somebody thinks we don't have enough and somebody thinks we do have enough.
Oh, yeah. Very common around here.
We don't like, do we need to be stressed or do we not need to be stressed?
Does he think you should be stressed?
Yeah.
I think that's
He
a
likes
little
to be
bit
stressed about a lot of things.
Yeah, so does my guy, and
Yeah.
I wonder sometimes like he says to me like it's hard for you to understand because I have this like innate feeling that it's my responsibility to be the provider. Even though like we're a team, and even though like for the first decade of our relationship you were the breadwinner, like now that we have kids especially, like I just have this feeling that this is like my responsibility.
Yeah.
And I guess I can't understand that because I think of myself as completely capable of figuring it out if it needs to be figured out.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's definitely a pervasive societal construct that I think worms its way into a lot of brains, whether they want it to or not.
So, okay, so you go to Pratt. Now we're fast forwarding again. Now that we've got Derek and he's included, he's involved, and he's on the ride. Now we're back at Pratt. You are finally doing this thing that like sort of like a slow build of where it makes sense to be. And as part of your graduation there, you put together a collection. Is that right?
Correct. Yes. So when you're a senior, you put together a thesis collection. You spend the whole year, both semesters, doing it. And then the way it worked there at Pratt and when I was a student was that there was then a jury that you presented your collection to. There was a jury, and then the jury chose, there wasn't like a set number of students, but the jury chose however many students they thought like cleared the bar of like being good or something. I don't know.
Readiness, commercial readiness.
Yeah, to present their thesis collection in a runway show. So the entire graduating class does not show in the runway show, but a portion of the students show in the runway show.
How many people did your year?
And I'm sorry?
How many people did your year showed?
Oh, I don't remember. I feel like probably somewhere in the like 12 range.
Okay. And how many looks are we talking?
They've expanded it. When I was there, I think it was 8 looks, 6 to 8 looks. And it's more now. Yeah, but like 6 to 8 looks. And you like sew them yourself, like you do everything yourself. Some schools like Parsons, I believe, allows like a certain level of like sending out to like sample makers. But we did everything ourselves. Yeah.
And what was the inspiration for that show for you? I'm leading the witness.
It was the Grand Canyon and American quilts. So a big part of what I do now is make outerwear out of repurposed textiles, quilts, and also wool blankets and stuff.
And where do you find those textiles?
At the flea market. And this was a long time ago. This was in 2012. And I had a coat made out of a quilt in that collection, in 2012. So it's been like part of the DNA from the beginning. And I won an award for that collection, that came with a monetary prize. So that was also kind of the launching pad to create Carleen, and try this entrepreneur.
I mean, you're fucking doing it. You're not trying, sister.
Well, yeah.
But hard. I mean,
it felt like a really big leap. Then it still does sometimes. But
well, you're like a mix, because you're extremely creative, but you also like to have assurance and like maybe a little bit more risk averse than your average artist. Yeah. And so I could imagine that would be scary. I would feel the same way. Like I like the idea of a salary. It feels less terrifying. But like you strike out and you do this thing. And
I also had other jobs. Like
what were you up to?
For a long time. It's only very recently that this has been my only job. When I graduated, there were kind of two parts. There was this cash prize that also came with like a little bit of publicity. And then I was also offered a job doing small batch, like working at a company that did small batch manufacturing for independent designers. So that job, and my boss who hired me knew me from an internship. That job kind of gave me the education in everything that I hadn't learned in school, like how to actually like meet and interact with factories, and actually get your stuff manufactured on the timetable you need it manufactured on, and like what vendors to go to for zippers, and like just all the things you need to actually execute, and make more than one of something.
Now,
so that
what
was
point?
A really important component too.
Now, at what point in Carleen's life were you like, I'm gonna do this? Like, this is happening. People are really buying, because like your stuff is most of it's one of a kind because of where you're sourcing your materials from. It's also a very specific design aesthetic. Which, like, now, do you ever feel like, that brand is definitely copying my vibe? Because, like, there's been a moment where that's happened. But, like, at what point are you like, I'm doing it? Like, this is happening. I don't
think there was ever, moments? Like, yeah, there's never been, like, a big revelation, because it's always been, like, a little bit of a grind. It's kind of just, like, leveling up a little bit, leveling up a little more, leveling up a little more. But basically, yeah, so the jobs I've held simultaneous to running Carleen was first I was doing this manufacturing job, and that was a full-time, like that was a full-time job, a full-time salaried job, and I was just doing Carleen on the margins. And then when that became unsustainable, I then worked as a shop girl for a lovely jewelry brand called Erica Wiener. And so that was like more of a weekend part-time job, and I was able to devote more time to Carleen.
Wait, is Erica Wiener the one that like has like lots of sort of little like charmy mismatched kind of like interesting little pieces?
Yes.
So she's like
she's
sort
kind
of
of
like
like
your jewelry sister.
yeah, she's like made the move, definitely true. In kind of our era of New York, she was doing more like charmy stuff, and like miniature pocket knives like on necklaces, and like but she kind of moved from there to doing some vintage engagement ring business, and then also now she's kind of moved away from that, and she's just doing like really cool, really nice antique jewelry. um we're still pals.
Shout out Erica.
So I was a shop girl for quite a few years, which gave me a lot of freedom to do as much as I needed to do at Carleen, but also have an income coming from somewhere else. And then I then started teaching fashion design, pattern making, at Pratt. And that was really the dream combination, because I was older, it was a little more serious than like working at a shop, but it was also like 2 days a week, and I still had plenty of time to do my other things, and also like have a life. Like basically I stopped working at Erica Wiener because I had been like enough years of like not having weekends off when like my boyfriend and my friends did.
That's fair.
So
we got to have the balance.
Yes. Yeah. So I was teaching at Pratt, and I really loved it. And then I moved to LA for just like a change. And I was able to get another teaching position there, and I taught at Otis. And then the pandemic happened, and I was not very interested in pivoting to Zoom teaching. And also after like an initial freak out, my business actually ramped up. So it was, and I also had a small child. So like kind of the combination of all those three things is what made me make the leap to only having one job, and not having two jobs.
We have to, and I warned you I was going to do this. We have to take a moment to discuss Project Runway. Have you ever seen it?
I have seen Project Runway. I haven't watched in a long time. I watched like some of the early seasons, but it's been a long time.
So don't watch the most recent season because they changed networks and now it's become kind of like bitchy in a way that was really not the DNA of the show. But I was so obsessed with the show. I mean, still am, in the sense that I've watched the most recent season. I recently revisited it, but like when I got married, I wanted to turn my white dress blue with some blue tulle. So I went to Mood, because that's where they buy the fabric in the store, like in the show, you know? And there's so many components of that show. Like when you're talking about teaching at Pratt, I'm like, oh my God, were you somebody's Tim Gunn? Like the wise sensei who's like the steady hand for these up and coming designers. Like, and then when you talk about your show where you're showing your collection and only some get to go on to do the runway show, I'm like, oh my God, you basically lived a non-televised Project Runway. Now, the only question is, there can be some cattiness, some drama, some whatever in the fashion world that I think is particularly pronounced. And I think that's changed as the space is diversified more and there's more spaces for differing voices. But in your experience, have you come across any of that part of the culture? I know that it's obviously distilled on Project Runway, but like I experienced that as an intern in fashion, that like there's sometimes like the vibe is not immaculate.
Not immaculate. An understatement. I think I've been spared from a lot of it just from working for myself. Like that's one of the best parts and also the worst parts of being self-employed is spending a lot of time just solo, or with like a very, very small team. So yeah, I feel like I've just been insulated. Honestly, it's just not my personality also, but I've been pretty insulated from it because I haven't had a ton of coworkers.
Like I would kind of love to see someone step to you, because I don't think you would receive that. I think you would just kind of like be confused and be like, what are you doing right now?
Yeah, pretty much.
I think we need more Kelsy's out in the world, perhaps. Okay.
Yeah.
That's an interesting take. Thank you for your hot take on that. Okay, now you mentioned a small child, and that in part being part of the decision matrix to move to kind of really making this your full time.
Yes, definitely.
Talk to me about becoming a parent. Any surprises?
Being a parent, being a mom is, kind of a full-time job. So it kind of felt like I had 3 full-time jobs, and that was a little bit too many. So so the easiest one to let go of was the teaching job, even though I did really enjoy teaching. So teaching was the easiest thing to let go of, clearly, because the other 2 are both kind of like my babies. So then I got to focus on just parenting and running Carleen. And
were there any mind fucks for you when you became a mom?
Yeah. I mean,
well, like you had this mom, right? Who
everything?
Like you mentioned your mom was like sort of like, this is really what she wanted to do. This is really her life's work. And at the same time, like you might have some of that in you, but you also have this other professional aspiration and baby. So like you're not exactly like her. So how did it all square out?
Yeah, I definitely like wanted to have a kid and was excited to have a kid. But like ambivalent seems too strong, but I definitely could envision both life paths for myself. Like I could and I still like can, even though I don't want to go back or anything, but like I can envision a timeline where I like didn't have kids and I'm perfectly happy and have like a very fulfilling life, and but that's not the timeline I chose. But I wasn't like a deep like passionate like must have kids as soon as possible. It was more of like, yeah, I think we want to do this. Like, I guess might as well be now. We're not getting any younger.
We're not getting any younger. Those ovaries, they got an expiration date.
Yeah, so first came Birdie, and then I was really, again, like really thought that might be plenty for me. She's great. It's really fun. I wasn't really that into the idea of like being pregnant or giving birth again. Yeah. Derek was never like harping on it, but he was always just kind of like, I just like knew, like he just said and didn't change his mind, like he would love to have another. And I think 4-year-olds are really fun, I've discovered. Basically when like Birdie was around 4, it started to be like, okay, like I guess I can do the baby thing again, maybe, like, to have a 4-year-old again sometime. Like,
that's cute. I would literally never say that about 4, so I think that's very sweet that was the age for you.
I mean, even, so my younger kid, Rory, is now almost 2, and even there is, like, just so much more delightful for me than, like, anything in the first year.
Yeah.
Is...
Agree.
Yes, I like get a lot of my self-worth from productivity. And there's nothing about the newborn stage that feels productive, even
Yeah.
though we all know you are being productive by keeping a human alive.
You're not like
So
firing on some of the cylinders required
yeah,
for
yeah.
engaging
So
yourself intellectually.
yeah, so toddler and up is like a lot more exciting for me. Yeah, and my kids are great. They're really cute. And
Now, you both are creatives in your household, but like your husband has a job that's much more like out of the house, needs to work prescribed hours. You also have demands on your time professionally, like, but it's more flexible and fluid because you're your own boss. Does it feel like the natural rhythm of things? I imagine that you end up being the default for parenting stuff because you're just more physically accessible. Is that true?
yes,
And are we fine with that?
yes. Most of the time we're pretty fine with it. The Derek would love to be home more than he is. Like there are like financial parameters that are like his job provides health insurance, mine does not. Like
Yeah.
he would love to he yeah, he would love to be more at home and less constrained by his job than he is.
I
But
feel
the
like
fact
in
is that
some
he is
ways that
constrained
would
by his job.
I feel like in some ways that would make me less rageful about it because it's like he would like to, but he's doing this thing for the family, which means he can't. So I feel
Yeah.
like that would allow me to be nicer to him if I were you.
It mostly comes up in like bickery little ways. Like he'll be like, I think we should take Rory to the doctor. And I'm like, okay, do you want to call the doctor? Like, he's like,
Yeah.
I have to be at work and I don't even, like, my work is not even in Long Beach. And I'm like, that's fine. I know. But, like,
Then don't
you
say
can still be the
we,
one who calls and
Derek.
makes the
Yeah.
appointment. Like,
This is
he also has,
that
like, a
sounds
little bit
familiar.
too much respect for authority. So he's like, must be at work when I'm told to be at work a little bit. And I'm just like, you are not like,
Yeah,
you're
enslaved.
not an intern. Like
Or an
people know
intern,
you have
same
a
thing.
life. Like, yeah.
No, it's totally true. But I think on the weekends, you guys like would you say your weekends look sort of similar to how you grew up?
Um, yes and no. I feel like we're still getting our footing on like adventures. My family did a lot of like camping and like spending the weekend away from the home growing up, and
Not my strong suit.
we haven't quite gotten there yet. But the kids are young, and we will probably get to some version of that sometime soon.
Do you ever get antsy about that? Sometimes I get antsy because I'm like, I want to do it now, but I also know I won't enjoy myself.
It's also hard with the two with the ages my kids are, because Birdie is 6 going on 7 in April, and she's like totally game and could totally do it, but like Rory still like needs a nap once a day and like stuff like that. So sometimes I'm like, come on, dude, you're holding us back. But
Yeah.
also it's fine. It's also still kind of nice to have like enforced quiet time like once a day. So we do a lot of playgrounds. My kids are very active. So
What's their relationship with the swap meet?
meets? And we take them to the swap meet, whether they like it or not. Birdie, like, again, just like the ages that they're at, they're kind of like it was easier like a year ago when Rory was just content to hang out in the carrier, and Birdie's like in the wagon. Basically, I just give them lots of snacks. That's that's my coping mechanism. I just
the only
like
way
give
to
them
survive.
a lot of snacks and put them in a wagon, and yeah, we do our best.
Well, what I love about this story is it starts with the swap meet and it ends with the swap meet in so many ways. Just this thing that like something that you experienced in childhood was so formative for you, sort of subliminally, that it ended up shaping like a core part of your creative expression to now like you're exposing your kids to it in a really organic way. And they get to be a part of your sort of whole creative world because you are at home. Your studios, is it at home or somewhere else?
No, it was, but it's not anymore. Yeah, but it's in Long Beach. Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's super fun. I feel like I get the best of all worlds.
The last question I want to ask you before I let you go live your very busy life is, what would you say to people? We're in this like interesting time, I think, in fashion and consumerism where we're both like the Amazon.com dupe for things era, and also people are trying to spend more in terms of small business, statement pieces, investment pieces. What would you say to people who are trying to balance those two worlds as somebody who very much sits on one side of it?
I do. I very much sit on one side of it. But I mean, I also like this. It's also very like the shoemaker's children have no shoes. I don't have a ton of budget for shopping. I mostly just like get the benefit of the employee discount at Carleen. But I've seen, yeah, I've been doing this since like 2012, 2013. I've really seen in my friends and family and my immediate circles how much just their proximity to me has changed their patterns of behavior. Obviously, I'm not taking in complete credit, but like just the knowledge of like knowing someone doing what I'm doing and participating and being a customer and a supporter and friend and family. I've seen it like trickle out in lots of ways. Like most of my friends and family who shop with me are not like have transitioned away from shopping with some of the obvious like big box culprits, and will still sometimes like doubt, are not hardline about it, but have really shifted a lot towards just more considered.
Melanie, Caitlin, we're talking about you guys. Yeah. I mean, you really know how to cultivate a brand ambassador.
I know. They are definitely top tier customers, and frequently sending me selfies wearing like multiple things from multiple seasons. Yeah, and it's really, really fun. But fun.
I really like that point is like, just as sometimes seeing how the sausage is made in fast fashion can really turn you off when you know where this is coming from and what it is doing to certain kinds of people who are making your clothes. The other thing can also be true, or can actually be a really inspiring thing if you get engaged in a certain brand that you like, or a certain maker that you appreciate in some way, and actually starting to appreciate the craft. It's almost like going to the swap meet and knowing that you're looking for something specific. If you start to think about your fashion and your consumer choices like that, it becomes maybe a little bit more of a rewarding experience, making it more of a game rather than just like a constant feed of Fisher-Price crap in my house, to use an analogy from childhood.
Yeah, and I feel like that's what I try to do on like a bigger brand level too, is I'm not frequently or ever like bashing other brands and other choices. I'm just kind of like lifting up the things that I'm excited about, and hoping that yeah, I'm trying to lead more with inspiration and excitement and not with
the sad stuff.
Downplaying other things. Yeah.
Well, I had so much fun talking to you, Kelsey. I'm excited for people to check out Carleen. You are the real fucking deal. Like, you're the real deal.
Thank you.
I don't imagine that you would ever submit to be on Project Runway, but if you ever want somebody to say in like a little bit of a German accent, like, in fashion, one day you're in, the next day you're out, just call me and I'll do it for you. And I'll say, Kelsey of Carleen, you're in.
I mostly have so much sympathy for the contestants on Project Runway. I'm like, you have been asked to do something in 12 hours that usually takes 12 days. Like, it's like no wonder that your hem is like taped up with a stapler. It's fine. Like,
she's an understanding queen.
Give them shit for stuff like that because they like give them no time, and then they're like, I can't believe you didn't finish this.
Well, I personally am hoping that I can continue to, or start to, really build more of a platform for Carleen. Whenever my first red carpet comes, you know I'm ready to be dressed head to toe in a quilt. But awesome. This has been such a pleasure.
I'm ready too.
We'll go swimming in a really cold ocean sometime.
Yeah, seriously.
Team, I need your help. If you love it here, please like and leave a review on your favorite podcast platform. Subscribe to the Substack for full access to this episode's show notes and join the discussion. And of course, follow me on Instagram at mutha, mutha.life for a daily look at all things mother. Thanks for listening. Be sure to tune in next week for another Chat in the Closet. This podcast was produced by Mother Life, music by Ronan Landa. See you next time.